Okay, so a few introductory statements before I start. Thank you, Tudor, for the presentation. Tudor doesn't have to feel ashamed because he didn't know what TED meant 2 years ago. When I was invited, me and Nico were invited to TEDx Bucharest. Somebody phoned me and said, we want you in TEDx. And I had to phone Nico and tell her we have to go to Bucharest. She said, why? And I told her that there's a teddy bear thing going on, and probably we're going to have to show teddy bears to small children. That's what I got from shameful, 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 of course. But hopefully now I know what TED is about, and I'm about to deliver a TED-appropriate speech. So still at introductory statements, we are missing one person. That person is Nicoleta Lupea. She's been my debate partner, and all that we've done together. It's pretty unfair that only one of us gets to talk about things related to what we've achieved, but she's in New York right now and she's watching online. So Nico, I hope you're watching and I hope you'll be happy with the speech. Now, thirdly, for the ones of you who are still asking what debate is, or I know you've seen something in the presentation about debate, and probably you're wondering exactly what debate might mean. If you don't know what it means, and I think 95% of the people here don't really know what it means, rest assured 95% of Romania doesn't know what debate means. So before I tell you about my speech, I move into the content of my speech, I'm going to tell you a few stories about how debate is perceived in Romania and in Cluj. And those are not sad stories, it's just a reality. So when I was going back from work, I had this huge trophy with me that I had to carry home. So I was in a cab, and the cab driver wanted to know what was the cup about. And I didn't want to tell him, I didn't want to go, we won something. So I said, let's not talk about it. And he said, well, I want to know, if you're a celebrity, I have to know that you've been in my cab. And I was like, I'm no celebrity. And he was still, what did you win? And I said, well, if you must know, I won the World Debate Tournament. And he said, "Nu ziceți am serios, domnul, ce ați câștigat, fără glumă." That's untranslatable. The second definition that I got for debate, and maybe that's more interesting. So a friend of mine was supposed to take part in a debate tournament. And because of that fact, he couldn't stay at his grandparents, who are living in a village near Cluj. So he explained to his grandmother, he said, I have to go to this debate tournament. Debate is where we argue for and against a motion, and the judge decides whether he believes we are persuasive enough or not. He explained that there are 4 sides or 2 sides to a story. Each team battles in order to show that his statements are more likely to be true than false and are persuasive enough to convince the judges. And he explained all that. And I also did my part in showing, this is debate. I've showed her videos and stuff like that. So when we were moving away from the village, somebody asked this guy's grandmother, they asked her, why is your nephew leaving? And she was like, oh, he has to go. So the guy asked, where does he have to go? What are they doing? And he said, they have these issues. What kind of issues? So the grandmother said, they're teaching German. And this is a true story. So that's my second story about debate. My third story about debate, which is the funniest to me, is after we had done all that we had done, I have a soccer team where I'm playing in Cluj. It's a semi-professional soccer team. So the people there kind of heard about what was happening with debate. They kind of knew what we had achieved. So at one point in this soccer team, I did a thing that you don't do in soccer. I dribbled in defense. Players don't dribble in defense because they might lose the ball and the goal might get scored against them. So with all the despise and the angriness that the goalkeeper had, and this goalkeeper was a professional football player, he said, "Ce crezi, mă? Aici e debate?" So that's my third story about debate. So rest assured, if you don't really know what debate is, nobody really knows. You can have your own definition. Debate is an argumented discussion, but this is not what I want to talk about to you today. This was just the introduction. The reason why I'm here is that I want to help you, and I want us together to find a vision of Cluj. And my vision of Cluj, 30 years from now, or 50 years from now, is I want the people in Cluj to believe more in projects and competition. And when I say this, I mean that I want to see the people here be involved in competitions in their own life. Now, I've lived part of my life in competition, so my statement would be that I know enough about competition in order to show that there are some fundamentals here that are also the fundamentals of life. So my speech today will talk about the things that you learn if you take part in a competition, the things that you learn and then you can apply in life. So in order to be successful in a competition, I'm going to tell you that there are a few steps, 7 or 8. And I'm going to tell you that the steps that you apply in competitions are also the steps that you should apply, in my opinion, or Cluj should apply in order to be better. So the first step that I want to talk to you about in any competition that you take part is to find a dream. Find something that you want from a competition, any competition. Now this sounds very inspirationally cliche-like. Find a dream, find your dreams, dream about them, yes, follow your dreams. That's not what I mean. I actually mean that you have to have a dream about something. Physically dream about it. I'm not talking about the metaphorical sense of, you know, I want to be the best in the world, or I want to be the president, so I'll be in an election competition. No. I mean to say that you have to have a dream, you have to dream about something in order to be motivated to take part in a competition. Now, the reason why I'm saying is the following. First of all, I know I've dreamt about speaking to large crowds of people, which is what I'm doing right now. I've dreamt about it in several dreams that repeated themselves. I've then studied, after the whole world competition, what cognitive psychology has to say about dreams. And I've learned that if dreams repeat themselves, it's not the common way, the way they're interpreted is that it's a premonition, something will happen in the future, you're probably going to do something that you're dreaming about. And psychology, from what I've understood with my amateurish perspective, doesn't say that. They say that if your organism keeps repeating a dream, it means he wants to tell you something. It's either the fact that you're worried about something or that you have to solve something. The reason why dreams keep repeating is because you have anxiety about them. So my perspective on this is the reason why you keep having a dream is because your organism, your body, wants to tell you something. The message would be, go follow that dream. Now, people come to me and say, you know, I don't dream about anything that has to do with competitions or with projects. I dream about things that are less than that. So my advice to that is sleep more, dream more, until you find something that you want and it appears so much in yourself. I don't talk about dreaming as in only sleeping. I also talk about dreaming with your open eyes. Anyway, once you have a dream, and I'm sure everybody has had a dream about something that they want, once you have a dream, the second thing about my second advice would be to find your enthusiasm about that dream. Now, there are other kinds of people who dream a lot. They say, you know, I have several dreams. I've dreamt, you know, I want to be the best hairstylist in the world. I want to be the best actress in the world, the best singer. And the way you select those dreams, from my point of view, is you select which provides you with enthusiasm. I was once in a USA scholarship that was called the Youth Leadership Project Initiative, all that. And there was one guy from Chile, one friend of mine, who asked us, you know, what do you think the quality of a leader is? What are the qualities of a leader? And we said, you know, charisma, passion, leadership, all of that circular, because the leader has to have leadership, and all that, authority. And he said, no. I think the answer to this is that the leader has to have enthusiasm. If you don't have enthusiasm about the dream, you will not be able to put all your effort into it. Enthusiasm is the only word that has God in it. It comes from theo, which means God in Greek, the etymology of the word. The reason why I'm saying is this, is that if you don't have something supernaturally powerful in you in order to fulfill a dream, you will not fulfill it. And now from the general stuff to the more concrete stuff. The third part in any competition, if you want to succeed, from my point of view, is that you have to be humiliated. You have to be reduced at the worst aspect of your persona in a competition. If that doesn't happen to you, the chances that you will win a competition, any competition, are lower. Now, there are two things I want to say here. The first experience that I have with this is a personal one. After we had won the Romanian debating championship for 2 years, Nico and I decided we would go internationally. And we thought that would be easy, because we had won the Romanian debating championship twice. What could be harder than that? So we just picked one tournament out of the many debate tournaments that were there. We picked Oxford because we thought that sounded good enough, Oxford. So we went to Oxford, and I told Nico, because I was really ambitious at the time, I told Nico before Oxford, I said, if we don't qualify in the semifinals, we quit. It's we're double national champion. So in Oxford, we placed 102nd out of 132nd. That means we were in the lower quarter, and it also means we were beaten up by guys who were beginners not only in debate, but also in the English language. Judges were ashamed of the scores they had to give us. I got a 68 out of 100 in debate. Is like scoring 2 goals in your own goal in a match. It's embarrassing. We also had been paid by the British Council to go there, and we had said, because they had asked what are the advantages, and we would go well, we're going to win it. Everybody will see what the British Council has done. So when we got back, we were too ashamed to say what we did. So we counted out of the average tournament, we counted how many ESL, English as a second language teams were there, because we had hoped that we'd be in the first 5 ESL teams, because there would only be 5 ESL teams. There were 15 or 16 ESL teams, we were the 14th. So that didn't sound good. Then we counted also the teams that were from Eastern Europe, because we had hoped we're going to say, we're 2nd or 3rd in Eastern Europe. We were 7th out of 8 from Eastern European teams. So then we went to Cambridge, and we said, look, something happened. Cambridge should be better. The first motion we got in Cambridge in debate was about the negotiations in Cancun. I had no idea that there was something more to Cancun than a beach. So I couldn't say anything about the World Trade Organization or what they had discussed in Cancun. In Cambridge, we placed 70 out of 80. So that was even more disastrous if you calculate it in proportion. And then we wanted to quit. I didn't know anything about how those guys could build up a case in 15 minutes, because that's all you have in debate. You have 15 minutes. I had no idea how they could do it. I hadn't even heard about The Economist, or I didn't know what an international newspaper looked like. And we were so upset with ourselves and with the fact that we didn't know what to do that we wanted to quit. But we didn't, because we loved debate and discussions too much. And my guess is that humiliation is the criteria that selects the ones who are able and have the will to win a competition or to fulfill their dreams from the ones who are not. So if you're humiliated in any competition, then you will be. Move on. You've just conquered one of the very important steps. The 4th step that's really important is after you're humiliated and you kind of solve the problems that had caused your humiliation, you have to survive the routine. Because routine will always install itself in a dream, in a project, in anything that you might do. 5 minutes left. So what I'm trying to say here is that in any road that you are going to take, at one point you will feel that nothing is happening anymore. You will feel that this is a path that you've been traveling for years and years, and nothing is moving on. You're not progressing, you're not doing anything in plus. And the way it happened to us was at one point we started to solve our problems with reading The Economist and newspapers in order to be informed. The problem was that we were always placing in the top 3rd somewhere, but never qualifying in the break, in the most important parts of the competition. And that happened for years. It happened for a long time. And then we thought, maybe this is it. Maybe this is the best we can do. Maybe this is our dream. We've achieved getting into the first 3rd. It's really hard for Romanians to do that in an English tournament, and maybe we should accept that. So that's the moment we quit debating. And for 1.5 years, we didn't debate anymore at all. And then at one point, Nico said, you know, let's go again. And I said, we don't have the money to travel in the world, because we didn't. And she said, doesn't matter, let's put all our economies into it and go. So we did. We went to Paris, we went to Amsterdam to a few tournaments, and we kept being in the routine. We were middle placed, first, third, never anything more. So at one point, Nico said, you know, I can't do this anymore. I can't be feisty anymore, was the word that she used. I don't know what that means, I never understood. And the round after that, we were in Europeans already. We started winning every debate tournament that we had. We won, from that moment, which was 2 summers ago, we won Europeans, Oxford, we placed in the finals of Yale, and also World. I'm not saying this because I want to brag about the performances, but I'm saying this to prove to you that at one point the routine will end. How do I explain this? I've looked at the meaning of routine in IT terms, because it seems that's where the term comes from. And routine seems to mean that it's a sequence of codes intended to be used repeatedly during the executable of a program. And I agree, I've used that sequence repeatedly during my debating career. But then it says, when finished, the routine branches back to the next sequential instruction following the instruction that branches. So there's a moment when the routine ends. Seek for the moment when the routine ends, because that's the moment you are going to move on. The 5th thing, and the last thing I want to say, is that my last advice to you in any competition is to try to work a miracle for your own. Now, before the finals of Worlds, I asked myself, why was I doing this? Why was it important for me to win a competition and to see others losing? Why was it important for others to lose anyway? Why are we in a competition? Why do people advise competition in any case? Because they want to see themselves the best and others who aren't the best because they want to see themselves defeating others? So I wanted to back out of the final of Worlds. The final of Worlds, the yes section, English as a second language. Because I had seen in the hotel before the final, I had seen the other teams preparing, and I saw how important it was to them, and I was like, I couldn't understand why we were doing it anymore. So I asked a friend who was there, I asked him, you know, why is it important for us? And he said, you know, it's not important. It really isn't. The fact that you'll be winning World or not is not important. What's important indeed is that you show you've done all you could to win it. And the thing that I've understood then was that the fundamentals of any competition is not to better others, it's to better yourself. If that happens only in a competition because that's when you can prove the best in comparison to the others, then that's perfect. But what you have to aim for is to better yourself. So the game fundamental that I'm trying to prove to you is something that you will find only in competition, or most likely in competition. In order to prove the best of yourself, you have to be in competition with others. You don't have to want to beat others in any competition, but this is one of the ways in which you can better yourself. This is what I'm trying to say. Now, apply all those steps that I've talked to you about, apply them in life. Have a dream, find your enthusiasm about the dream, be humiliated, survive the routine, work out a miracle, win. And hopefully, we will have better Cluj. Thank you.